I was the CEO of a manufacturing company in Central Texas. We made chemical-resistant work surfaces. We mixed together epoxy and binder and silica and colorant to make those black chemical-resistant countertops you see in every school and every lab all around the world. Before I had run the company, I had run operations. I'd run one of the factories, so I was really familiar with the processes for making our product. I knew what working on the floor was like. I knew about the chemicals. I knew what the saws and the fabrication equipment was. I knew the people, and I knew what a hot, intense work environment it was. Our facility was a steel building in the middle of Texas that on the best of days, in the middle of summer, was a hot, heavy work environment. Now, on this particular day, I was in my office, and I started noticing people were running. And I could see them running, and I could hear people yelling and hollering. I couldn't understand them. I didn't know what they were yelling about, but I knew something was wrong. So I got up, I left my office, I went outside, and I saw it. And as soon as I realized what had happened, my stomach sank. Smoke was billowing out of one of our chemical storage facilities, one of the silos out back. We'd made a mistake. We had made a huge mistake. We had connected a delivery truck of chemicals to the wrong silo. We had mixed thousands and thousands of gallons of resin and binder together, and when we did that, we kicked off an exothermic reaction that was creating a huge amount of heat. Now, this isn't like spilling a chemical and being able to come back and clean it up. Once that chemical reaction started, there was no way for us to stop it. I had no idea what to do. None of us had any idea what to do. We'd never dreamed of mixing that much of these things together. Was it going to burst into flames? Was it going to explode? Was the smoke toxic? Had we just burned down our factory? Had we just killed our business? And I felt these fears welling up in me, and I could start to feel my own sense of panic kicking in, and I realized I couldn't let that happen. Because if I lost control, everyone around me was going to lose control. So I took control of the one thing I could, myself, my own emotions. I detached. I slowed down my breathing. I slowed down my speaking. I slowed down my movements, and I called the team together. And as I did that, they calmed down. And they stopped yelling, and they stopped running, and they were able to start thinking about what we needed to do. Now, we knew we needed to get a number of things done, and we needed to get them done quickly, but we had to do it in a way that didn't make the situation worse. We had to prioritize. First, we had to make sure nobody was near that silo. We didn't know how much heat it could generate and how much it could take before something catastrophic happened. Second, we had to evacuate the facility. We had to get everybody out, but we had to do it in an orderly way, and we had to make sure equipment and processes were shut down so that we didn't make things worse. Third, we had to get first responders on the way, but we knew when they showed up, they weren't going to know what to do either. So we had to have chemical safety data sheets, and we had to have information about our processes and our facility available for them. And as we did all of this, we had to make sure we were communicating in a way that was simple and clear and concise so that we weren't creating confusion and more panic as we went. With the priorities straight, the team executed. They went after the first thing first, the most important thing, make sure nobody was near that silo, and then they moved through, and they executed on the rest of the priorities. Now, that silo billowed smoke and put out heat for months, but nobody got hurt. We didn't burn the facility down. We learned some things about how to make sure that never happened again, and we had the operation back up and running in about a week. In the days that followed, people came up to me and they thanked me for my leadership. They thanked me for the decisions that I had made that day, but you know what? I actually hadn't made most of the decisions. The team had made most of the decisions. What I had done was I had detached. I had stayed calm. And that allowed them to do the same. Because here's the thing. Panic and confusion spreads like wildfire. But so does calm. So if you want your team to be able to execute under pressure, if you want to be able to execute under pressure, take a deep breath, relax, look around, and make a call.